Okay, hello, everyone. Thank you all so much for coming in. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. Um, Let me pin this message up here. Okay, it's there. Okay, I am streaming from two platforms, and I need you all to let me know if you can hear me and see me okay, especially if you can hear me okay, because I have my devices very close together and I want to make sure it's not echoing or muffled on your side. Um, to my right is my Facebook Live, and to my left is my YouTube Live. So, welcome in. I see everybody over here from Facebook coming in. Thank you so much for coming in. Thank you. Hello to Anna and Kathy and everyone that's coming in on the YouTube side. Please let me know if you can hear me okay. I would appreciate that. I see Ola Joe is in the live. Thank you so much, Ola Joe. Please, again, I don't see anyone say anything. Make sure I haven't seen you in a while. I got no. Okay, fantastic. You got this note. I upload every day. For those of you all who haven't seen me in a while, I upload every single day. Okay. All right. Coming in clear as a bell on my side. Thank you so much, Cheryl. And that's on the YouTube side. So new to your channel, welcome, Paula. Welcome. Yes, can hear and see you fine. Thank you so much for letting me know that. So you will see me going back and forth a little bit. My devices are very close together. I'm trying something new so that when I get in the kitchen and I'm cooking for you all, I can set it up a little bit differently where everybody can see me and hear me okay, now that I know that this setup is working. So fantastic. And for those of you all who did not see, I did put up a recall video today. It was an addition to the recall for the Quaker Oats. Now, I'm going to touch on that just a little bit before I get into so many recalls and what is the answer to so many recalls. You guys will be amazed. But today, if you haven't saw the video, I posted a video, and the concern I have with the video that I posted today, it was for additional granola oats bars, Llama Rama Chewy granola oats bar. This particular granola bar was actually discontinued in September of 2003. Now, the first recall or the first announcement for the most recent recall for the Quaker Oats was December, mid-December, around December 15th of 2023. Okay, then they had an update at the beginning of January, and now they have this recall for this additional bar. Now, the bar that I did the video on today that was just recalled as of January 31st, it was just recalled. That particular bar was discontinued in September of 2023. Now, they added it to the list because it has a best buy date of February 10th and or February 11th. Some boxes February 10th, some boxes February 11th. What does that tell me? That tells me, hey Wanda, how are you? That tells me that if they felt they needed to include that bar, that contamination happened back in September, 3 whole months before it was recalled in December. That bar was discontinued in September. Now, merchants leave things that are discontinued on the shelf because, well, just because it's discontinued doesn't necessarily mean anything's wrong with it. It could be discontinued because, well, maybe it didn't sell well. People didn't like it. It just wasn't popular for many reasons. A product can be discontinued. Okay, so anyone else has no sound? I see Luciana says she has no sound. I will ask, well, Luciana does not have a, if a mod can tell her to restart or go out and come back in. I think everyone else can hear me. I can hear you. Thank you so much, half and half. Thank you. Thank you for everybody for telling me. I did see someone go up the stream that said they had no sound, so maybe it's their device. Thank you, Ola Joe. That particular product apparently was, or the possibility thereof, could be contaminated since back in September. Well, just because it was discontinued, merchants continue to sell it. So people continue to buy it. They continue to buy it until it's sold out and then there's no more. How many times have there been a discontinued product of something that we just love and we like, you know what, I better stock up because it's discontinued. Thanks, Ola Joe. It's discontinued. I won't get it anymore. So there's nothing wrong with that. And there's no surprise there. But where it comes in at for me is if you feel you still need to take it off the shelf this late in the game, then there was probably contamination all the way back in September. So that's something for us to keep in mind when they have these recalls. They have the recalls because they are just now finding out that a product could possibly be contaminated. No one really knows when the contamination occurred. Now, I know a lot of people have said and they say, stay away from processed foods and things like that, but it's not just processed foods. We had a cantaloupe recall for the whole cantaloupe. That's not processed. This is recently, we had plums, peaches, nectarines, spinach. Those things are not processed foods. Those are our whole foods. And because those are our whole foods, that tells me that it's not isolated to processed foods. So recalls is not something that's new. A lot of us, especially those of us who are a little bit older, kind of feel like, you know what, when we grew up or years ago or not so long ago, there weren't all these recalls. What's going on? But you see, recalls have been going on for quite some time. The very first actual food recall was in 1973, and it was a nationwide recall for canned mushrooms. So you see, the actual quote unquote recall dates back to 73. And you say, well, that was just one recall. It may have been a recall here, you hear something, and a recall there, but it's in an abundance now. There's a reason for it being in abundance now. But food contamination has been going on probably since the beginning of time or something. Alexander the Great, all the way back, go way on back to 323 BC, Alexander the Great's illness and death has said to have been from typhoid fever that he got from food from salmonella. So you see, food contamination has always been around, okay? And even a lot of it when fermenting foods and canning foods, you'll hear even on YouTube and Facebook and all these platforms, people that have been canning for years, you will still hear them be very, very cautious in what they tell you and how they tell you to preserve this food. From cleaning the tops and don't let anything touch anything and make sure you wipe this down and you use the vinegar and you use this and you use that. They are very, very strict because food contamination is real and it can happen to anyone at any given time. It is not just processed food. There's people canning food. They're canning whole foods lots of times. So it is not necessarily processed foods. I don't want anyone, and I'm doing these recalls, and I know it seems like I'm doing 2 and 3 a week, and I am. And that's because the information is there, and I'm going to give it to you. So if it comes every day, I'm going to give it to you every day. I would suggest you will all pay attention to the recalls when I post it. a lot of them are hardly ever put out in the public domain. If it's not a big enough recall, the news media is not going to pick it up. Okay? It's not going to be worth their time and effort to pick up something that's small. But just because the recall is small doesn't mean the effect that it can have won't be tremendous. And so this is why I'm trying to give out the information, because you got to get it from somewhere. Okay? We need to know this information, period, no matter what. So you say, well, if you're not going to blame processed foods, and a lot of people think they're hiring the wrong people, or it's the people aren't being cautious enough. And that's all probably true, because the contamination has to come from somewhere. But the thing about it is, the main reason why we are hearing so much right now about all these recalls, and it just seems like it's in everything, is because, guess what? The answer is so simple. It's because we can. Our country and the world in general, but our country has grown so much, okay, in every single aspect of life. And we don't think about that sometimes, okay? But every last single one of us is walking around with a computer in our hand, okay? A full-blown computer in our hand that we're talking on. Well, not so long ago, many of us walked around with a quarter in our shoe to put in a payphone. When was the last time you saw a payphone? Technology is constantly evolving. So now we have the technology for better investigations, okay? We have the technology, and let's not leave out AI, okay? That has become just tremendous, okay? And so you've got better investigation, better monitoring, and all of these things can contribute to the information coming out. Not too long ago, a lot of information about a recall or any food contamination had to come from consumers. And if the consumers didn't complain, if the consumers didn't contact anyone, no one knew. No one knew. And the thing about it is a lot of this different things, everything from listeria to salmonella to foreign objects being put in the food. I don't think it's necessarily being put in the food, like someone actually took it and put in the food, although that probably has happened. It's probably being mishandled, and that's how it's gotten there. But now we have the technology to detect it. Before, the only way we found out about it was someone bit into it. And if that person reported it, if that person said something. So now we're hearing about it because technology is catching it. And it's abundance. But like I said, a lot of these recalls, if they are small recalls, like today, how many, let me just say this. Put a C in the chat if you heard about the additional Quaker Oats granola recall that just happened on January 31st. That's when they recalled it. Put a C in the chat if you heard about that before you saw my video. Okay? Okay, so we got some C's coming in, but we sure don't have a whole lot to say we have a lot of these people in here. Not the original Quaker Oats, the additional 1 bar that was discontinued. Okay? That's the problem. Okay? That right there. The media does not pick on. Now, we have way too many people in both these lives for it to be a handful of people hearing about this. Okay? Exactly. They want the big stories. They want the big announcements. Thank you for the stars. I appreciate that. They want the big announcements, the big stars, okay? They're not looking for the small stores. Now, some of the news medias have picked it up, but they've picked it up in print. They haven't picked it up on TV or videos or things like that. How many people are really reading a lot of print these days? The masses are not. The masses are not. Okay? Nope, heard it from you first. Thank you for, you are welcome. You are welcome, Andrea. You are welcome. Yes. They need the big stories. Okay? That's what they are for. Now, when Quaker Oats had the original one back in December, it was all over the news. If you didn't hear it, it's just because you didn't watch the news. Every news media picked it up. It was even on national news. World news. I mean, not national news. Yeah, world. It was on world news. Okay? If y'all know world news with David Muir, it was on world news. It picked up because it was huge for such a large conglomerate to have such a massive recall. Okay? So they are now under the gun to try to properly fix this for the simple fact that it is a lot constantly. And I know we wonder sometimes what to eat, but we cannot under any circumstances walk around in fear and say, well, I'm not going to eat anything. You can grow your own. That's the best bet. Okay? That's the best bet. All right? And I know that a lot of people may have compromised immune systems, and that makes it worse when you get hold of something because it makes it easier for you to get sick. But the best thing you can do, if at all possible, and I know everyone cannot do that. Thank you, Donna, for that super chat. Thank you so much. I do know that everybody cannot do what I'm getting ready to say, but if you can, the best thing you can do is to get yourself and your immune system as healthy and stable as possible. So that if you come in contact with something, prayerfully, your system can handle it. Doesn't mean you're not going to get sick, but maybe you won't get as sick. That means you got to move. You got to get up. You got to walk, or you got to sit in your chair, and you got to, if you have a job where you sit all day, you got to learn some way, somehow, you got to move. You got to move. You got to get yourself in gear to be able to ward off anything. We don't know, like I said, because it's not just processed food. If all we ever heard about was processed food, it would be easier because we'd say to ourselves, well, you know what? Let me just stay away from this processed food. But when you start talking about things like spinach, and trust me, it was bagged. Oh no, the very first one I did was collard greens. And yes, it was bagged collard greens, but there's nothing in the bag but collard greens. There's nothing processed in there. They've picked them off the stem, so they say, because there's a lot of stems in there, but they've picked them off the stems. They don't even claim necessarily to have washed them. But it's nothing in the bag but collard greens. There's no other ingredients. The same thing with spinach. There's nothing in the bag but spinach. Okay? It's not a processed food. Then you're talking whole cantaloupes. We're talking about peaches, nectarines, plum. These are whole foods. Okay? And you wonder, well, how did this happen? We will never know how all of it happened. Sometimes we will find out how some things happen. But the reason why we are constantly hearing about it is not because all of a sudden our food is contaminated. I'm here to let you know your food's been contaminated all along. That's probably why a lot of people get sick and have gotten sick in years gone by and didn't even know why. Because you ate something. And because you had no clue that there was ever a recall, that's the last thing you went to check on. And you know what? I don't have anything against doctors. Doctors are wonderful. We need them. But I'm going to tell you something. They don't know everything. Okay? They don't know everything. That's why they consult with one another. That's why they say get a second opinion. And that's why sometimes when you get a second opinion, it's different from the first or the second or the third opinion. You know? Yeah, they don't know everything. So, in years gone by, there wasn't the information that we have in our hands today. We have information in our hands today that we have never ever had before. And 5 years from now, 5 years from now, if you think there's a lot going on now, as technology increases and we're able to get the information about these things, we'll hear about even more. We will hear about even more. Okay? One thing, I tell people all the time, even when you have fruits, whole fruits, a lot of people, especially I've seen people that have had things like melons, and they'll just take the melon and they think because what they're going to eat is on the inside, they don't need to wash the outside. Okay? Even your oranges, I've seen people that say, well, I'm going to peel my orange. I've seen people carry their orange around with them in their bag. Take it out, peel it, and eat it. What's in your bag? I'm not saying your bag is filthy, but I know that you have put something in that bag that you pulled out and you sat somewhere else. So now you didn't put your orange in your bag or your apple, and you know you're eating the apple skin, but let's just stay with the orange for a minute. You got the orange out your bag. You got your eyeglasses in your bag. You got a cosmetic bag in your bag. You got ink pens in your bag. When was the last time you went somewhere, had to go somewhere, you pulled out your ink pen, somebody asked you, could they use your ink pen? You let them use your ink pen. Did you clean your ink pen when you got it back? You see, germs come in from everywhere. So if there's something on it, start where you can. Don't eat an orange without washing the orange. Don't eat a cantaloupe without washing it off first. Because let me tell you something, cantaloupe, melons, watermelons, anything like that you need to cut, okay? When you need to cut it, your knife is going from the top all the way through. So whatever's on the outside of it, somebody put that cantaloupe on the shelf in the store. Did they have gloves on? No, they didn't. And even if they did have gloves on, gloves protect your hands. They don't protect the objects that you're handling. Okay? So all of this about, I'm going to wear some gloves. Your gloves are protecting your hands. So if you have a produce person is wearing gloves and they handling the food, they ain't wearing those gloves to save you. They wearing the gloves to protect their hands because they picked up the box and they brought it out there, or they picked up the box and they put it on a rolly cart, and then they pushed the rolly cart out to the aisle, and then they opened the box with their hands or their gloves, and then they reached in the box and they got the melon out with their hands or their gloves, and then they sat it up. Okay, now I was always taught, speaking of a cantaloupe, if you pick the cantaloupe up and you push on the two ends, if you can slightly push them in, the cantaloupe should be right. So if I was taught that, somebody else was taught that too. So what does that mean? That means that I ain't the only one that went in the store and picked up a bunch of cantaloupes to see if they was ripe. So now all these people been in there in the store and they picked up these cantaloupes and these other melons, and they done pushed on them and they done did this and they done did that to see if the cantaloupe is ripe. And you take it home and you put it in your refrigerator and it sits next to something else. Or you take it home and you put it on your counter and you commence to go ahead and cut it without cleaning it first. And you're dragging the germs right on through it. So even if it wasn't contaminated from something else, It's contaminated now. It's contaminated now. Okay? Because you just drug your knife through without cleaning it. Okay? Worst case scenario, if you don't have anything to clean it with, the very worst case scenario is to run warm water over it. Run some water over it. Okay? But you're dragging the dirt through your fruit. Same thing. Same thing. We don't necessarily think that sometimes the things that we do can cause more germs to be passed around in our food. So you see this food contamination and these germs, they're all over the place. And it's up to us to protect ourselves the best way we can, which is through our immune system from the inside out. First and foremost, I always say, pray over your food. Pray over everything, but pray over your food, pray over your coffee, pray over your drink, pray over your water, pray over whatever you get ready to put in your mouth. Okay? Pray over it before you even buy it. But when you finish praying on it, because faith without works is dead. So when you finish the prayer, you got to still do the work. And that work is cleaning it. Okay? That work is cleaning it. How many times have you seen somebody take a banana or an orange and put it on their car seat? You're on your way to work. You going out the house. You run out the house. And you grab an orange or something. You just sit on your car seat. Who was the last person that sat on your car seat? And where they behind being? I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Okay? But we're hearing about all these recalls now because we have the technology to hear about them. They have been going on for years. For years, people. Think back. Sometimes, remember, think. Just think. Either you or someone you know or someone in your family, you eat something and then all of a sudden it upsets their stomach. This was now, I'm talking like maybe a few years ago, when we were not hearing about all these recalls. Okay? And a lot of people said, oh, I might think I got a little bit of food poisoning. You got a little bit, you either got it or you ain't. You know, like you got a little bit of food poisoning. Okay? Because we didn't hear about anything. So it wasn't prevalent to us. There was no notifications. There was nothing on the news. There was nothing in print. There was nothing on the internet. There was nothing anywhere. How many times have you been to a restaurant and you ate something? You said, I don't know if I want to go back there. I didn't feel so good after I ate there. It wasn't recalled, so you didn't think about it. And it wasn't recalled because we didn't have the technology, okay, for the people to find out about it and for it to be known about it. All right? We're blessed that we have this information and we know about it. And it's not to say, just like when the cantaloupes, and I keep going back to that because that's our whole food. The spinach, the cantaloupe, the plums, the peaches, the nectarines, when all that was in the food recall. It's only in the food recall for a given amount of time. That doesn't mean that the next batch that comes in is contaminated. So it doesn't mean you have to stop eating that. I can't go back and eat that anymore. Okay? That's gone. Okay? And you're blessed to have been notified about it so that you could stay away from it. Okay? But that doesn't mean you have to stay away from that food forever. Okay? Maybe at a period of time. Okay? You can stay away from it. All right? They come back and they'll go so long, they'll recall it. And when they recall it, they try to get everything back out of the stores so that it can't be purchased. And the recalls are so that if you have already purchased it, can you say, happy birthday to my friend? Happy birthday, friend. So that it can already be taken off the shelves and we won't buy any more. But the possibility of all the people who may have already bought it still stands true. Okay? And that's what we have to worry about. All right? Exactly. Wash your cans off. Wash your bottle. Wash anything off. I know that there's so much stuff now that's automated and it's been put in bags through automation and things like that. But at the end of the day, there's someone somewhere touching it. And this isn't meant to scare you, like, oh my God, I got to clean everything. But you really do need to clean your food off. You do need to at least wipe it down. The worst case scenario. You don't have to freak out and feel like, oh, I got to take everything and I got to scrub it down for life. I mean, you can if you want to, but you don't have to feel that way about it either. Okay? And that's fine. I don't eat out a lot either. Like someone saying that they don't go out to eat very much because they get a stomach ache. Because you don't know what the employees have. You don't know if they're sick and there are people that get sick. They cannot afford to take a day off work. They don't have any personal time. They don't have any vacation time. They don't have any time whatsoever. And if they take off, they could get fired and then they can't pay their bills. They can't feed their kids. And they may be sick and they may say, you know what? I got to go to work. I have no other choice. And these are the things that we have to think about. I don't really think a lot of this contamination is intentional. Now, granted, sometimes it is. Oh, I moved my whole camera. I knew something was going on. Okay, let me straighten this out. I'm sorry, y'all. I know I felt something on my foot, and I'm like, what am I feeling on my foot? It was the whole camera stand. I apologize for that. But you can't just run rampant and say that, you know, I'm not going to eat anything. Don't run afraid. Don't say I'm not going to eat anything. You need to eat, or then you're going to cause a whole nother problem if you don't. You're going to cause a whole nother problem if you don't. So you have to. Okay, you have to eat. You just have to be aware. And if something is and this is why I try to tell you all, and that's why, and I don't mean to say this, but I say it because I know there's a lot of new people that will see these videos. And this is why I always say subscribe and turn on the notification bell so that you can get the information just in case you were getting ready to buy it or you have it already. And even if you've eaten some, that doesn't mean you got to eat more. And it doesn't mean that everything may have, and that's the thing. When you have these recalls, please do know that it is always that it has the possibility of having whatever it is, listeria, salmonella, allergen, undeclared allergen, or something of that nature. That means that it's been found in something and it was found in this batch. We don't know if it's in every piece, but to be on the safe side, we need to recall all of it. Okay? So it doesn't mean that just because you bought something that was recalled, that's the end of it. It's not. It's not. Okay? Don't have a panic attack or anything of that nature. So let me see what some of you all are saying in the chat, because I know I've been talking a lot. Let me see here. I always also have this pulled up on my computer screen. I watch. Yes. My husband is so paranoid about food that he's down to rice and beans. You can't be that paranoid about food, because guess what? Some could be in the rice and the beans. Who said ain't nothing in the rice and the beans? You know? So no, you can't do that. Heard it was reported that some of these grocery chains have staff to change expiration dates on breads and meats and stuff. I have heard that too. But you know, if you get a piece of bread and you know if it's fresh or not. And this is why I did that video telling people. I don't know if you all saw that video. I have another video. It's a short where I show you. I was actually in the store how to buy the freshest meat in there. You look at your meat, but the thing you have to do is take it out of the meat department. And you can just about take it anywhere else in the store. But get it out of the meat department. Go in there, find whatever you find. Chicken, turkey, ham, whatever you get. Okay? Take it out of the meat department, walk away with it out of the meat department, and go walk down another aisle, canned good aisle, any other aisle, and look at it. Okay? You should be able to see if it's fresh or not, because it'll have a grayish tinge or a brownish tinge. It won't be nice and pink. The lights, the light bulbs that they have, and I'm not saying every last single grocery store in the whole world, but let's just put it like this. It has been known that some lights in some meat departments in some stores are intentionally put in to brighten it up. Kind of like how we come on camera. We need a bright light so you all can see us. So they put a bright light on this meat. And depending on what the bright light is, this is how it looks. So when you walk along the aisle and you see, oh, this looks good, I'm getting this, you take it, you put it in your car, you don't look back. Take that meat, go to another department, go to the baby department, I don't care, the soda department, any the chips. Go down one of the regular aisles, okay? And look at that meat and see if you feel it is fresh, okay? It's raw, so there's no other way to tell. There is no other way to tell, okay? And like someone said in the chat, sometimes stores have been known to put different dates on products in order to move it. That's just like the applesauce pouches with the cinnamon. How the company went intentionally and got a cheaper brand. And I don't know if they knew it was contaminated when they got it, but they didn't stay to their own protocol of having the best quality of ingredients. They went with a much lesser quality of ingredients. So, where they thought they were trying to save money by using a lesser quality ingredient, they probably end up spending or losing hundreds upon hundreds of dollars due to the recall. And that recall, by the way, I did that video a few days ago too. That recall is still going on. They still do not know where this contamination came from, and they don't know if any other products need to be included. That's the applesauce, the Wana Bana Weiss and Schnucks applesauce pouches. It's still ongoing. Now, when you have something like that that's still ongoing, stay away from it. But you don't need to buy an applesauce pouch. Applesauce is one of the easiest things in the world to make. You don't have to do anything but cook it. If you don't want to do anything else, all you got to do is peel the apples, cut the apples up, put the apples in a pot, put some water in the pot, turn the pot on, let them boil until they get soft, put them in a blender and blend them up. Okay? That's all you really have to do. Now, if you want to add some cinnamon to it, you can. If you want to add a little nutmeg, or if you want to add a little, I would say squeeze a little lemon in there to make sure they stay nice and bright, so it'll stay nice and bright, or lemon lime or something like that. But you don't have, that's the easiest thing in the world to make, number one of them. Yes. So, yes, absolutely, absolutely. Thank you, Rose, for that emoji. That's so cute. And I appreciate all the stars over here on Facebook. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yes, Tammy says, I go into the store and some just don't care. That's true. Yes, some stores put fresh hamburger on the outside and older hamburgers. Yes, now, and you know what? When you get home and you break it open, and you break that hamburger open, and it's nice and pink on the outside, and it's not so pink on the inside, you know what you need to do, don't you? Take it right on back. We have gotten to, and that's another thing, we've got to get in the habit of taking these products back. Keep your receipts. Don't leave the store without it. Get your receipt. I see so many people, I don't need my receipt. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. You don't think you need your receipt, but you do. Okay? Keep your receipts. Take it back, take it back, take it back. It's like anything else. That's another thing. That's another thing. It's like anything else. If we start taking things back, taking it back, taking it back, taking it back, they'll do better. If it's on the store level, they will do better. I keep all my receipts and take them too, Ola Joe. They do better because they're losing money every time you bring something back. They losing money every time you bring something back, one way or another. Okay? Money came in and money's going right back out. Thank you, Katina, for those stars. It's going right back out. They don't need that. Thank you, Psalms 146, for that super chat. I appreciate that. They don't need that. Okay? We start taking it back instead of saying, oh, you know what, I'm just not going to eat this, or I'm going to throw it out. Take it back. Take it back and let it be known you're taking it back. Like, speak to the manager. Like, I just bought this, okay? And this is happening. All right? I got it home. And thank you for the stars. I appreciate that. Oh, wait a minute, y'all. I got to pause for a minute. I just saw something on the Facebook side. I don't know what this means, but it says to activate a stars party in like 4 minutes or something. I don't know what that means, but I'm going to activate it. It's something that's supposed to, for you guys. I don't know what's going to happen. I keep seeing that on my platform about if you reach so many stars, we'll have a star party. This is something that Facebook gives. So I don't know what y'all getting ready to get. But there's a little line. I don't know if you all can see it. There's a little line that's going through the bottom of my screen. And when it gets all the way over, I'm going to press it. I'm just letting y'all know. Thank you, Dolores, for that super chat. I appreciate that. But yes, take it back. Let the manager know. Okay? Because sometimes employees will just take it back, push it to the side, and they don't. It's accounted for eventually. But if we start taking things back on the regular, the stores may even start taking into consideration, where is this product coming from? Let's just say it is a loaf of bread of some sort. And you got 50 people that's brought this bread back in the course of a couple of weeks. You're going to think, if I was a manager, I'd say, wait a minute. I'd say, what's going on here? Where is this? I would be contacting the manufacturer, the distributor, wherever I'm getting it from. I would be contacting them to find out, okay, everybody's bringing this bread back because they're saying this bread is A, B, C, D, F, G. What's going on with it? We have to hold people accountable at the level we can hold them accountable to, and that starts at the store. Okay, that starts at the store. When you see employees at the store doing things that you know is not right, coughing, sneezing all over something, it's time we speak up. It's time we report these people. This is our health. And we have to take our health in our own hands. And we have to do whatever we can do to ensure that we keep on living. Because I'm telling y'all something, I'm planning on living to be 150, okay? I got a long life ahead of me. I guess y'all say 150. 150. I done put it out there in the atmosphere, in the universe. Yes, absolutely. I agree about taking it back. It was only $2 a week. It's $100 a year. That's right. That's right, Charlene. That's exactly right. Yes, fact is being self-sufficient is the answer. It is, Michael. It is. Yes, that's right. Absolutely. I feel like large stores like Walmart don't even care. They may not care, but when the manager gets ready, you know, there's always somebody above somebody, above somebody, until you get to Walmart itself, Walmart and Sam's, they self, which I don't even know if they actually still around, both of them, but there's always somebody ahead of somebody else. So you go above and you keep going above. Thank you for those stars. Okay, it says yes. It says it. Where did it go? Okay, the line zoomed. Did you all get something over there? Something's clapping at the bottom of my head. Let me tap this and see what happens. I'm sorry, y'all. Let me see. Okay. I don't know where it went, but we'll see if it pops back up. It went all the way to the end, and we'll see what happens. Thank you for those stars, Andrea. We'll see what happens. Okay, we'll see what happens. It's still going. Yes, Sharon says, I complained to a roasted peanut company about the grade of their products and received a complimentary bag. Yes. Absolutely, because they need satisfied customers. We are the customers. And if we are not satisfied, these companies, if they lose enough customers, they will go under too. It says, Vicki Newton Wood, you got the party. It says you got the party. Okay. I don't know what that means, but okay. Mr. Sam Walton, I thought he was. I thought he was deceased. Yes. I thought he was. Yes, I was wondering if fiber is on there. Is fiber on where? I worked at a local public supermarket at the time, the front desk bagger, and sometimes I learned about food recalls from other departments outside the customers. Yes. Yep. Sometimes customer service is the last to know. The party is over. It's stars for you. Oh. Okay, well, thank you. I didn't know what it was. I had no clue. I had no clue. Thank you. That's the first time I've seen that. I've seen this little notification come through before, but I didn't know what it meant. Yes, the Walmart in my town doesn't even care about the elderly or disabled. They used to have little shopping carts, and they don't anymore. You received, oh, Vicky said you received extra stars. Oh, well, thank you all. Thank you. I appreciate that. They didn't have issues like diabetes, autism, allergies. You know, no, they're not. I am not a doctor. What does that say? You girl Tay? Nope, I am not a doctor. No, ma'am. I am not. You are so welcome, Kyrie. You are so welcome. Yes, that is absolutely, and that's another thing. We didn't hear about that. But you know, I'm going to say this because this is what I think. And I could be 199% wrong. But this is just my thought process, okay? You see, when I grew up, because I'm way older than most of y'all out there, although y'all may not think so, I am, okay? When I grew up, it was a pure treat that only happened maybe once or twice a year that we got to go out to eat, especially fast food. Oh my goodness. That was like, talking about Christmas in July, that was Christmas. You know, we get to go out. There was no such thing. There was no such thing. My parents, they cooked. And I understand people say, well, I'm working 2 or 3 jobs. But let me ask you something. The last time you went through a fast food place, did you really get your food that fast? There are plenty of dishes, plenty of things you can make in 15 or 20 minutes. Sometimes you sit in the fast food line longer than that. Then they get it wrong. Then you go home and you're mad because you didn't get what you ordered. And if you looked in it before you left, then you got to sit there and give it back. Then they got to fix something else and give it to you again. You could have went home and fixed yourself something. And I know you may say you're tired, okay? But sometimes it don't take that much. It doesn't take that much. I have a video coming out Sunday. It's a whole meal in one skillet, and it took less than 20 minutes, okay? A whole meal. You got your protein, you got your vegetable, and you got your starch. And you got your sauce, if you want to call it a sauce. It's done. Okay? So the next time you get ready to go through that fast food restaurant, think about what you're getting ready to eat. And I know sometimes you just want what you want, and that's okay. But that's not going through there every day. Okay? And it doesn't cost any more, because this fast food and these places that these people eating, y'all eating, whoever's eating out, child, let me tell you, that's astronomical. I could buy 2 whole bags of coffee for a Starbucks coffee. I can feed my family for a half a month for McDonald's. It costs too much. Do you know how much money you would save? You know? We've been so accustomed to fast, simple now. I'm believing it takes 30 minutes to come a meal is raw. Yes. If you make super stew on the weekend, it will last all week. Thank you, Debbie. Thank you. Yes, Miss Pam. Yes, yes, yes. We'd be in the back seat, and my parents would be saying McDonald's to McDonald's, and we'd be looking back at it. That's right. Yes, I love one pot meals. Yes, and that's another thing you can take one day, make a big pot of something, and it's a form of meal prep. Every time somebody says meal prep, it doesn't mean you gotta have a piece of chicken, a vegetable, and a side in these little bitty containers, and you line them up, and you can make a big pot of food, okay? And if you have to, you can put the whole pot in the refrigerator. Nothing gonna happen to that pot overnight, okay? At least, all right? Or you can get you some big Tupperware dishes, and you can put the whole pot in there. Okay, if you're gonna eat it in 3 or 4 days, it's fine in the refrigerator. Nothing gonna happen to that food, or nothing. All right, and then you go home and you scoop you some out in a bowl. And if you don't like a microwave, you can put it in a pot and you can heat it up on top of the stove for a minute. If you got a microwave, you can stick it in the microwave. You can put it in a toaster oven, and depending on what it is, you can eat it cold. Okay, all right. So we have to, I'm watching my bank balance grow since I stopped buying. That's right. That's right. And I know sometimes it would behoove you. And I've heard people say, well, I go to Starbucks because it takes too long for me to fix coffee in the morning and I'll be running, so I just drive through. How many times have you waited in the Starbucks line? Count your time. Time is valuable. If you're sitting in the Starbucks line waiting because somebody didn't know what they want to order, it's taking so long, or the machine ain't working right. Okay, and if your Starbucks don't have a drive-through, that means if it's cold outside, you got to get out the car in the cold and go inside. You can stay in your warm car. It would behoove you to keep your Starbucks money for 1 month and go buy a coffee pot with a whole setup on it that has the timer and everything. You can set that thing up at night, boom, have it go off in the morning. All you gotta do is invest in a nice stainless steel cup, go get your coffee, pour it in, stir it up, and you out. It's gonna stay warm in your thing, okay? Because that's a one-time investment. Once you got it, you got it. Usually coffee pots last for years. They don't break down like that. Once you got it, you got it. Okay? So you have to think about ways that you can do things that you don't have to be worried about eating out a lot. Okay? Because it not only is it expensive, but I'm going to tell you, that's another thing. When you go through these fast food restaurants and you got to complain about your food, think about what you're doing. You complain about your food to somebody that's fixing it. Really? And if you don't complain, then you're not satisfied because you didn't spend your money, you didn't get what you want, or it's not right. And if you complain about it, then I'm like, no, she didn't say that to me. I'll fix her. I'm just saying. You got to think. That's right. I got 6 kids, can't eat out like that. I know 6 bowls. I know. But a lot of people do. A lot of people do. And you know what? My position on that truly is, if that's really what you want to do, then fine. But guess what? Don't complain about it. Don't complain about it. Don't complain about the food you got, the service you got. Don't complain about how you feel. Don't complain about getting fat. Don't complain about none of it. Because you made that choice. And it's your choice. And so I'm good with it. Because I'm going to make my choice. Okay? And I don't eat out that much. I don't eat out that much. I'd rather not eat than eat out sometimes. Thank you, Sue, for those stars. I appreciate that. I ain't doing it. No. And it has nothing to do. Let me tell you something. Pam, what is your opinion on juices? Are they a good investment or a waste of money? They are an excellent investment if you don't mind the time it takes. Now, you can buy these nice, big, fancy juicers. The better the juicer, the better your overall experience of juicing will be. Because you want one that's going to take out as much pulp as you wanted to take out. You want one that can hold larger pieces of fruit or vegetables so you don't have to cut it up so small. You want one that separates things where you don't have to core an apple because it will do it for you. Now, those are expensive, but if you're going to go there, that would be the kind that you would want, because guess what? I don't have that kind, and I wish I did. I love juicing. It's not only is it healthy, it's beneficial to you. You get all the real nutrients out of it, because the truth of the matter is, when it comes to vegetables and fruits and anything like that, we cannot chew our food well enough for good digestion, and we cannot chew our food well enough to get the true nutrients out of it. This is why people that get really, really sick, if you've ever known anyone, God forbid, but if you have ever known anyone, thank you for those stars, that has gotten really, really ill, okay? The first thing a doctor will typically do is cut off solid foods. Cut off solid foods. Because in order to get the nutrients, and you can have something and you can still go home and everything, first thing you do, they tell you, juice. Get off the solid foods because you can't get the nutrients out of it. I don't care how long you sit there and chew it. You cannot. It's humanly impossible to chew it well enough to get the nutrients out of it. It's not humanly possible to chew it enough for a good digestion. So yes, the juicer that you're talking about, those juicers are very expensive. But if you have to save your way there, save your way there, because it is well worth it. And another benefit to having a good juicer is, if anything were to ever happen and you needed to juice, you ready. You are ready. Okay? Yes, Zenobia, juicing will heal. Yes, it will. Cold pressed juicers are wonderful. Yes. You double, I'm not done. You double, I don't know what that means. I have to puree my food. Yes, Sheila, yes. A lot of people have to puree their food. Absolutely. Absolutely. I cook every day and have been making my husband lunch for 42 years. And that is fantastic, Rosemary. That is fantastic. Yes. I just ordered a couple of diapers from a Facebook gal with her own disabled chicks. I didn't catch all that, but yes. I want to pay $500 for a machine to mash stuff. Yes, if that's what you need to do, save your way. Find out, okay, what everybody that can typically spends some money on something that's really not that necessary. And that's where you want to extract your money from. We all have something that we do. I don't care if it's something you wear. I could cut out this lipstick, okay? That would be an expense. It's so many things that we don't think about in our daily life that we can cut out to make room for something else. And that's what we have to do sometimes. That's what we have to do sometimes. Those juicers are expensive, but yes, they are absolutely wonderful. One day I will have one, you know? But yes, and that's how I know to tell you, you want to make sure it's got a big enough hole to, because mine don't. I got to chop the food up and it still don't extract it. And then at the end of the day, I got to strain it and strain it and strain it again, because it is not, the pulp is still in there. So do it right the first time. I'm just saying, do it right the first time. Yes. Soccer mom says, I got a juicer. It changed my family's life. Yes. Yes. This is why. Two things happen when people get very ill. No, I'm not a doctor, but I don't know. Don't ask me how I know all this stuff. But they will take people off of solid foods and they will give them a liquid diet, or they will feed them intravenously. Okay, feed them through a tube or something like that. And when you're going through a tube, ain't no solid food going through that tube. And if depending on what is wrong with a person, sometimes comas are induced. And that takes me to the second thing that I want to say. The reason comas are induced when people are very, very ill is because sleep and rest heal. Sleep and rest heal. You got something wrong with you, go to bed. You ain't been feeling right, go to bed. And I don't mean just take naps. If you sleep in 5 hours a night, 4 hours a night, now I do know, don't get me wrong, I do know that some people have no choice because maybe their work schedule gives them that amount of time. But if you're sitting up on the internet, on YouTube, on Facebook, on TikTok, on IG, go to bed. If you're sitting up watching TV, go to bed. If you're sitting up reading a book, go to bed. If you ain't feeling good, try to get you a couple more hours of sleep a night. Rest heals. Sleep and rest heals. This is why people who are in traumatic accidents, and if they get into so much pain, they will induce a coma because they need the rest. Their body has to go into a state of rest. Yes, thank you, Sheila, for those stars. I appreciate that. Yes. Turn off your phone. And yes, turn off the phone and the Wi-Fi. That's right. Turn it off. Cut it off. Yes, Miss Pam, you preaching to me. Kyra, I hope that. I'm glad to hear it. If it reaches one, I always say that. If anything I say, from my videos to everything else, if I can help one person, just one person, then my living shall not be in vain. If I can just help one person, then my living shall not be in vain. Sleep, what's that? I got 2 young kids. They need sleep too. Time for you to, Mindy, it's time for you to tell your children, you're going to bed. You know what? I have 4. Mine are all grown now. But I'm going to tell you something. When it comes to kids and going to bed, they just like a horse. You can lead them to the water, but you can't make them drink. You can lead them to bed, but you can't make them sleep. But you can tell them the lights is out. And I don't want to hear no talking. And I don't want to hear no gaming. And I don't want to hear this. And I don't want to hear that. If they lay there long enough, guess what? They're going to fall asleep. You have to be the mother. Okay? You got to run the house. You can't let them run you around in it. Okay? And whatever you start out, however young they are, what you start off when they're little is what they will do as they get older. Okay? Yes. Yes. We don't feel well. I close the curtains and get a teddy bear and snuggle up and take a good nap. That's right. I work 18 hours a day. Post-pandemic, I have to pay the bills. And that's fine. And that's fine. And that's fine. You work 18 hours a day. Sleep when you can. But if there comes a time when you are not feeling well so that you can keep working those 18 hours, you may have to slow down for a couple of days and get some rest. Typically, your body will tell you. If your body is accustomed to that, then your body will tell you. It'll tell you to shut down. It'll shut down, but you want to shut it down before it shuts down on itself. Okay? So just working the 18 hours, you got to pay the bills. That's fine. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Okay? But in the course of the 18 hours, if you feeling that you can't make it, then you can't pay no bills if you not here. Okay? You can't pay no bills if you go down. Okay? So if you feel you need to work 18 hours to pay the bills, then you do what you got to do. But keep in mind, when you feeling that pressure and you know you need some rest, take the rest. Even if a bill don't get paid. If you ain't got no lights, use a candle. If you ain't got no heat, use a blanket. If you ain't got no phone, you don't need to talk to nobody. Okay? Because if you ain't here, you can't pay no bills, no matter how hard you try. If you go down and you the one got to pay the bills, you can't pay them. So don't let yourself go down that far. That's all I'm saying about that. I understand. People got to do it. You got to do what you got. Been there, done that. I ain't lived all this lifetime and ain't had no hardship and ain't been through nothing. Why you think I know what I know? Okay? I've been through more than probably everybody up in here, or most people. Yes. Okay? So yes, you gotta take care of yourself, because if you don't take care of yourself, you sure can't take care of nobody else, especially if you ain't around to do it. Okay? So do what you gotta do. Also, with 18 hours a day, be sure you eat the best you can. Absolutely. That's right. Eat the best you can and stay hydrated. Stay hydrated. You don't need all the sugary drinks and the coffee with this and that. And you might think, I need the coffee to stay up. But if you drink the water enough, that water will keep you up. And I don't mean running to the bathroom. It's naturally hydrating. Okay? And it will naturally pick you up. That's right. Yes, absolutely. Somebody says copper. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. Yes. Cucumber, lime water, all you need. Yes. Or I love lemon in my water. That's right. Cucumber, lime water. That's good too. Yes, I can relate to hardships. Absolutely. You don't get, you know what? If you have not had any hardships in your life, then either you're not old enough or it ain't just caught up with you yet. We ain't getting out of here without something. But you know what? That's your test, and your test turns into your testimony. That's how you learn. That's how you learn. Okay? Yes, juicing will be life-changing for the better health, long-term experience. And when you do decide to juice, please, please, please buy organic as much as you can, or grow your own and juice it. Don't forget, I got a gardening channel. If y'all don't know, I got a gardening channel. Y'all need to follow me as soon as this weather lets me back outside. The Scaredy Cat Gardener. On Facebook, The Scaredy Cat Gardener. On YouTube, The Scaredy Cat Gardener. And yes, I'm named The Scaredy Cat Gardener because I'm scared of everything out there. I ain't the person that like worms and spiders and all that stuff at a distance. Yes, absolutely. Jesus will carry you through. Yes, subscribe. Thank you, Kyra. Thank you. Yes, you are like a breath of fresh air. Such wonderful advice. I hope people are listening. Common sense, listen. I hope they are too. I hope they are too. Yes. Oh, gardener too. Absolutely, I grow my stuff. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. I don't have a very huge garden, and everything I grow is in containers for now. I may grow something in the ground eventually, but everything I grow is in containers. And this year I'm doing a medicinal garden. This will be my first year doing a medicinal garden. I usually just grow things that I'm going to eat, but I'm intentionally growing them. And when I say a medicinal garden, it's just different herbs and things that I can turn into tinctures and teas for health benefits, things that give you health benefits. I'm proactive over here. I like to take something and use something and do things before I may need them, not after I need them. Yes, absolutely. Oh, I just planted tomato seeds today. Fantastic. Yes, 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 yes. Soursop leaves. That's a good one. That's a good one. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. There is so much, and when you grow your own, it's right there. It's right there. You can make a tea out of just about anything. And things that are liquid go through your body, your system way faster than something you have to take and digest. Yes. Hey, Chef, it's Blake. Blake. Oh, hey, how are you? Yes, I remember you, Blakey 3 Plays. I do. How have you been? Good to see you. Oh, that's good. Your herbs become monsters. They grow up high. That's wonderful. Yes. Also get some wormwood and black walnut. Yes. I start all my vegetables indoors. I do not like necessarily starting anything indoors. I am not that person. I'm a direct sower, and I don't mind even being, what garden zone are you in? I am now in 8A. I was in 7B, but for those gardeners and people that are gardening out there, if you did not know, the gardening zones, the hardiness zones changed this year. They just changed them in mid-November. So whatever zone you thought you were in, please double check it before you start planting different varieties of different vegetables and fruits, because you may be in a different zone. Mine changed from 7B, and I am now in 8A. But I would prefer to direct sow. I don't mind if I'm a little behind, when I probably could have been harvesting because I'm just now planting. But this particular year, I have decided to buy starts. Everything but my medicinal garden, I am just going to go and buy the starts. It is nothing wrong with going and buying starts. For those people who think, oh, I don't want to buy starts, other than they may cost a little bit more, but you know, I look for the ones that have 2 and 3 in there, and then I separate them, then I got like 3 plants. I don't enjoy doing the seeds indoors. Since I don't enjoy it, it's just, and then the hardening, hardening them off drives me crazy. Take them outside, bring them in the house. Take them outside for an hour, bring them in the house. I just don't want to do it. But I have planted enough things from seeds indoors and outdoors that if a time ever came and I had to plant my seeds, and I have a ton of seeds that I've saved, I know how. So as long as I know how, I'm good. But this year, it's going to be starts. Yes. People advertising their channel in your live. Who's advertising? Well, I'm sure that's on the YouTube side. I don't know if Ola Joe is still here, but if someone is advertising their channel in the live, please do not do that. And I'm pretty sure Ola Joe will give them the boot or tell them what they should or should not be doing. But thank you for that. I didn't see it. Love your channel. Your posts always make me really happy. Blessings to you and yours. Thank you so much, Finn. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yes, 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 yes. And we have been on here for quite a while. Well, it's just a little bit after 8, so we haven't been on there that long. Hour and about 10 minutes. That's not bad. I thought it was a little longer than that. Yes. You keep shining for Jesus. Thank you, Sherry. I absolutely will. I absolutely will. Mike Melton is watching. Thank you so much, you all, for coming in and hanging out with me today. I appreciate that. I am not going to keep you all too much longer, but I did want to explain why we are seeing so many recalls right now. It's not that we are actually seeing so many recalls. It's just that now the technology is picking up on them, and the corporations and the FDA and everybody else is finding out about them, and they have to tell. Okay, even if they don't want to, they have to tell or get shut down. So this is why we're hearing about them. They have been going on for years, but I felt that it was a good thing for me to incorporate in my videos, since I'm getting the information, is to let you all know, because I know that a lot of these recalls are not being told for a week or two after they're out. You could have been stopped getting that anywhere on the Appeal brand or the Apple brand. Appeal, I'm not sure what you mean, the Appeal brand. Let me know which one which one is that. We got to start shouting it out once the doors open, everything flies in. Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so much for encouraging, sister. I love that you share faith so openly. Absolutely. Absolutely. Appeal. I don't know, Susie. I haven't heard anything on that. I have not heard anything on that. Yes, I have not heard anything whatsoever. But if I do, I will let you know. Yes, just glad to be here for a cool stream too. Awesome, John. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Oh, I see what you're saying. No, I don't know anything about that. I'm not one to take it. I'm not doing it. So, no, and not to buy. Okay, yes, gotcha. Got you on that. Absolutely. Yes, yes, yes. So, anybody else have any other questions or anything before we get ready to get out of here? Yes, Karina, I'm glad you caught the live too as well. Michelle Gordon, Nancy Jackson, and Deborah is watching over there. Thank you guys so much on the Facebook side. Thank you guys so much on the YouTube side. Yes, do you grow I have not grown it. Like I said, I'm just starting to grow a lot of things for medicinal purposes. Thank you for all the info. Now going to watch my other favorite page. All right, yes. I love all of your information. Thank you so much. Iora says, thank you so much, Miss Pam, for sharing all your information. Thank you all. Part of it is because food labels must now also include common allergy. Yes, and let me just say that before I get out of here. I know a lot of people have said in my, thank you, Sharon. A lot of people have said in my comments that people should know, like if it says for undeclared milk. Well, people should know, like the yogurt, something had undeclared milk in it. I just want to explain that real quick before I do get out of here. Thank you for mentioning that. The thing about that is there are, and I can't think of all of them right now, but there are 9 things that are known allergens. And these particular 9 things must be mentioned by law if they are in a product. You have to look at the overall picture. If you have a yogurt, okay, I know it's probably got some milk in it. You might know it's probably has some milk in it. Okay, but look at the amount of people and the age range of the amount of people that may purchase this yogurt. It could be anywhere from a child from maybe 8 years old or even less sometimes, that maybe a parent said, run in there and go get the yogurt you like. But maybe that child is allergic to milk and they've been taught to read the labels. And they pick it up and they read it and it didn't say milk, so they got it. Same thing, take that on the other end of the stick. Someone elderly maybe can't have the milk and they read and say, oh, this is going to be a good yogurt. It doesn't contain milk. I don't know what's in it, but it doesn't contain milk because it wasn't on the label. Okay, now think about all the people in between the age range that may have, may not be able to understand everything that is or is not on a label if it's not clearly marked. But they know that maybe they have a peanut allergy and it hasn't been marked that peanuts is on there. And this needs to be declared so that anyone that has an allergen to this knows. There's no doubt about it. It's in this product says so. If it is left off the label, it has to be recalled because someone that is allergic to it could get hold of it, looked at the label, didn't see it in there. And you know what? There are so many substitutes for things these days as well. So you could pick up something and say, oh, it doesn't have peanuts in it. I'm good with this. I can eat this. And you could be definitely allergic to peanuts. But it didn't say it had peanuts in it, although it was a product that you thought should have had peanuts in it. But you said, oh, they must have substituted with something. I don't know, maybe it's got some mushrooms in it. I don't know, whatever. Okay, it doesn't say so. Good, I'm eating this. So this is why when you hear me tell you all about the recalls, it does take a degree to read some of the labels. That's right. But this is why you hear me do the recall so much on undeclared allergens. It's important. And that's why I also ask you all kindly, if you all could, I know you all are doing it, and if you could continue, I would appreciate it, sharing these videos out. Because like I always say in them, if you don't have the allergies, or you don't have this, or you don't have that, or you don't buy this, or you don't buy that, we just don't know who might. Okay? It could be a neighbor down the street. And if for those of us, all the others that maybe have other channels, YouTube channels or social medias, we don't know who's following us. Okay? And by us sharing this information, we can reach people that we may need to reach. It may reach somebody and save a life. Okay, so that's why it's important. So for people who always are asking, you know, well, it shouldn't be declared. They should know if they can eat that or not. Well, if it don't say that, then it's not on there, so they think they can eat it. You know, so it has to be declared. Yeah, I just wanted to say that. Yes, yes, yes. All right. Yes, they also have to let you know if it is made without nuts. But if someone else there has nuts, they have to let you know. That cross-contamination, right? They have to, and that's why some labels will say, like, okay, that item may not contain nuts, but they'll say processed in a facility that processes nuts or something. So Okay, this ain't don't have nuts in it, but it was processed in a facility that does process nuts. So we don't know if the wind blew and some got on it or whatever happened. That's a good point. That's right. That's absolutely true. That is absolutely true. It is important to eat according to your blood type. Yep, yep, yep. Yes. So all of these things are important. There are so many chemicals in our food. It is a lot of chemicals in the foods for preserving and for doing this and for doing that. And it's like, and the best thing is to do is to try to eat as many whole foods as we can and make our own when we can as well. And I do know that it's not always possible. And I eat processed foods. I don't eat a ton of them. I don't eat them all the time. I eat processed foods. I cook with processed foods. I don't cook with them all the time. But we all do. Sometimes it's just quick and easy. And there's nothing wrong with that. And I think a lot of that has to do with it too. It's different if you eat something that's processed once a month, once every couple of months, as opposed to every single day, every meal, 3 squares a day, and you got some processed food in there every single meal you have. Those kind of things make a difference. Yes. Miss Pam, can I get invited to dinner? Come on over. Yes, yes, yes. Definitely allergic to chocolate, so I can't eat anything that even touches chocolate. See, good example. That's a very good example. So now, if you had something and it didn't have, the label did say it did not have chocolate in it, but it did, this is why. This is why those type of recalls are just as important as the ones that have listeria, salmonella, and all these other things I can't even pronounce if I ain't directly reading it. Yes. Eating late at night is not good for us either. It is not. It is not. You need to give. That's another thing when they talk about intermittent fasting. All those things are good for you as well because you need your organs and everything to get a break. Take a break. They need to rest too. You can't work your digestive system 24/7. Everything in your body needs a break. Needs a break. That's right. That's so true. There's new products made by appeal being applied for outside of some fruits and vegetables since 2018. Yeah. Yes, 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 yes. Absolutely. Um, Oh, okay. Yes, 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 yes. Okay, well, guys, I guess that's it for now. Glad I got an opportunity to hang out with you guys this evening. Thank you so much. And thank you all for always watching my videos and sharing them out. I try to keep them going. I try to keep them going. I try to keep them going on Facebook. I try to keep them going on YouTube as well. Yes, 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 yes. So I'm going to let you all go. Everyone have a blessed evening. And I will see you next time. The good Lord willing and the creek don't rise. Bye-bye. Okay, we're going to shut that down.